Hey, what's going on, everyone? I was about to say happy Saturday, but it's Sunday. Technically, it's Camille Prosperity out of Savannah, Georgia. And can y'all believe I said in the last broadcast I was going to get something to eat? Do y'all know I still haven't eaten? That don't make no sense. So anyway, I was going to get something to eat, and then I got this comment on YouTube, and I responded back, and it's been on my mind since, and I really felt the need to do a video about it. Um, yeah. First and foremost, though, as you come in, please like, share, subscribe, do all those great things that will push this good video up amidst the mess that is on YouTube and other social media platforms. Let me know where you're watching from, regardless of whether you're live or a replay viewer. And definitely going over to hellocamille.com. You can find me everywhere from there. So let me share something with y'all. If I'm talking about a comment, right, I think it would be helpful for me to show the comment, correct? Of course, so that you guys know what I'm saying here. Now, it is this comment was just left, yeah, less than an hour ago, okay? So,
Melio is the online solution.
could y'all hear that? I don't know if y'all can hear that. Anyway, this is not about trading as much as it is about the dialogue that this young lady and I just had. Okay. So where's my comment? Oh, okay. It's right there. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, I want to read this to y'all, and then I just want to share some things with you, okay? Because a lot of y'all are in this boat, the same boat that this young lady is in. And I just want to give you a different perspective, right? Because when my perspective changed on things, everything changed. So this is a video I did a month ago, and it was talking about the price increase with my trading course that I'm in, that I absolutely love because of how the lady explains stuff and the community. It's a subject I never thought I would even remotely understand, and I'm finding that month by month, I'm getting better and better. And what do I tell you all the time? That everything that is foreign will stay as such until it becomes familiar, right? So we just can't give up, right? So this is the comment, and I want y'all to think: have you ever had thoughts like this? She said, uh, she said, I mean, I get it. I mean, I get everyone who can afford it thinks it's underpriced. Backstory: the trading course that I'm talking about is going to double in price. It's four figures right now. Okay, so it's four figures right now. I'm not going to say it's not cheap, because to me, it is cheap with respect to the value and the return on investment that I've seen other people make. Have I gotten there yet? No, but I also haven't applied myself like those who have. So I'm always fair, right? Anywho, um, and I don't always measure my wins in money, because if I did, I would quit a whole bunch of stuff, y'all, much earlier, right? So the course that I got in 2020, and it's been that price since like 2018, it is going to double in price in a few days. March 6th, I think it is. And so this young lady commented on my video about the price increase, and she said, I mean, I get everyone who can afford it thinks it's underpriced. But for those of us saving during an actual recession trying to take the course, it's tough. To see the prices go up sucks. Now I really can't afford it. Just because you get more money don't mean you should. I mean, come on. Just because you can get more money don't mean you should. I mean, come on. Some of us are actually low income and trying. I'm not on social media, so I just discovered her. I was planning on buying in a month. Now I can't, but I'm not surprised. Everyone's trying to raise the price of everything. But let's be real. Because it's a recession and not many folks are buying, everyone is squeezing juice from a penny any way they can. It's sad, but it's life. I'll mourn in peace. Now, I responded to her and I said, I get it. I'm a single parent still recuperating post divorce. I didn't save to get the course because I don't have extra to save, is what I'm saying. I sold stuff to get the course. I sold, oh my gosh, I meant to say I sold what I had. I sold, I sold what I had. Products. I sold the products I had, both tangible and intangible. I'll revise that. That's how I always get what I want and need. I have to sell the oil in my house. That's a biblical reference, y'all. Best wishes to you. And that reference comes from, I'm not the best with Bible stories, but there was a woman, her husband died and he owed debts. They owed debts. And so the the collectors came to collect, and since she didn't have the money, a widow, they were going to take her children. And so she asked, what, an angel or a prophet or a disciple, somebody. She asked somebody, what should I do? And he said, what you asking me for? Go sell the oil in your house. And so that's, and Myron Golden, who is my business according to the Bible mentor, my money mentor, he tells that story much more eloquently than I did. And the first time and every time that I hear him tell that story, it always resonates with me because his message is, it is not about your resources, it is about your resourcefulness. And every day I see people on Facebook Marketplace selling things that they have. Often, I mean, I grew up with a mom who was a single parent of 3 kids. My mom sold every skill she had. She can sing. She would sing at weddings, at funerals, you name it. You name it, right? She would bake. She would cook. She would do whatever she had to do to provide for the 3 of us. And she had to do it by herself. And so I come from that. I wasn't always this way. If I didn't have it in my paycheck, I was like, oh, well, I guess I just don't have it. But once I had my son, and this is no shade to anyone, but once I had my son, I had to change that way of thinking because I was like, okay, like it just got real. It's a whole nother child here. I cannot, not, I can do without, but I don't want him to do without. And I just don't want to live this way. So once I had my son, that's when I started looking into entrepreneurship. And guys, I've looked into a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. I've tried. I've failed a lot, like a lot, more than you know. And let me finish this up. So she came back and she said, um, "Oh shoot, where's her comment? She left a really good comment. Um, I don't see it though. Did she delete it? Oh man, I mm, I think she did, or she revised it or something. Because she left a comment, and I basically told her that she said she is only a few dollars away from saving the rest of the money. Okay, okay, here it goes. Here it goes. I'm happy she didn't delete it. Okay, understandable. Yeah. She said, yeah, well, I was just a few $100s away from the 5,000. I won't lie, I procrastinate. I appreciate her honesty too. She said, I won't lie, I procrastinated getting half the course because I wanted the VIP. On Learn Hustle Grow YouTube page, they said you have until March 5th to get the new program for 5K. Right, because after that price on March 6th, it's going to be 10K. She said, they have a link, but I don't see it on the website, so I have to do a bit more investigating. Have you heard anything about that? Okay, I'm going to reach out to her. I totally missed that question. She said, I don't play about my coins. If this is true, this is Spirit's way of telling me to hurry hurry the heck up. And then, yeah. And so I responded to her and I said, understandable. I am happy to hear you've made the progress that you have thus far. Thank you for not being offended by my response. Because, like, oh, Lord, so many people get offended by stuff. I'd be trying to help and I just be like, you know what, forget it. So I was happy she wasn't. I said, thank you for not being offended by my response and for having this dialogue with me. I think a lot of people feel just like you, but are afraid or embarrassed to say so. I think I may actually do a video about this because it needs to be talked about more. Anywho, I hope to see you on the Inside in Terry's Facebook community with all the other trading cousins. I think you will make it happen. So congrats in advance. So I really felt like this needed to be talked about because just being honest with you, like her comment and she was saying, y'all, I read it as she thought there was like some huge difference between me and her. And I'm saying to her, sis, I'm just like you. I don't really have the money for half the stuff that I do, but I don't let that stop me from getting it done because I know for a fact. And I had a mentor who asked me this, not me directly, it was a room full of us. Later on, we had a personal connection. We had a personal relationship to where I could call him up. And it really helped me out because he would say things like, how old are you? What's your education? And at the time that I came in contact with him, I was like 33 years old. I had a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And he was like, okay, so you're 33 years old. You've been working for how long? I started working at 15. And he would literally have me do the math. When did you have a child? Oh, I had my first and only child 3 years ago. Okay, so for 15 years you worked. You have a master's degree, which, for all intents and purposes, puts you in a pretty good standing as far as income earning potential. You just had a child 3 years ago, so you haven't had like you weren't a teen mom, or you haven't had years of. And at that time, I was married when I met him as well. So he's like, so you're married, you have a child, like you did everything quote unquote right, and you still right now don't have an extra $1,000 to your name. And then he would pause, a painfully long pause. And then he would ask me, how does that make you feel? Whew. And y'all, it made me feel a bunch of stuff. It made me feel mad. It made me feel sad. It made me feel exhausted. It made me feel frustrated. It made me feel bamboozled. It made me feel a bunch of negative emotions. And he would let me stew in those negative emotions. And we would just sit there looking at each other. The most uncomfortable silence ever, right? And then you know what the next question was? He said, do you still want to feel this way a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and even longer? And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Of course, the answer was a resounding no. And so he just basically would connect the dots for me. Well, if you've done everything right for 33 years and statistically you should be in a much better place than this, that means there's something you don't know. So therefore, if you rely on your own understanding, you will probably be in this same place next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, and so forth. And I could not deny that. I couldn't refute what he was saying in any way, shape, or form. If I knew better, then I would have done better and I wouldn't have been in the situation that I was in. So then what do you do now, Kim? You don't have extra money, but you need to do better. You need money to kind of sort of make money. What do you do now, Kim? Well, this is where the stretching comes in. This is where the growth really happens. This is where the rubber meets the road and you are tested. You are tested to see if what you say you want, if your heart's desire is really that. Because anybody can say that they want something, but are you willing to put the work in? And the work all the time, I'm not even talking about work at your job. I'm talking about work in your mind. Creativity. What can you come up with? What can you do? What solution can you provide to someone in the marketplace that they will pay you for? There was this YouTube video of this girl, and she was like in her 20s, and she said, I'm going to spend the next 72 hours just researching something, different things that I can do on Fiverr to earn money. And y'all, she did like a time lapse video, and she showed her looking up, like researching videos of the highest paid Fiverr opportunities, and then how to do them because she didn't know how to do them herself, and then listing herself on Fiverr, and then reaching out to clients directly to market to them. Like she did all of this within a few days. And y'all, she made, I forget what the total was, but it was a comma. Like it was over $1,000. I was like, what the heck? There's another girl on Instagram. She knew nothing about Canva. And she just watched a bunch of Canva videos over and over again, practice, 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 got clients, practice, 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 and became this like very, very, I'll say famous Canva expert. And now she's selling classes for $55 a seat, and she always has people with receipts and praise for her, saying, "I didn't know about Canva, and I thought I knew about Canva until I met you." And then and now money is not an issue for her, and she taught herself Canva. She looked at the marketplace and said, and literally, who can do this? Anybody. Anybody. It's not about what you know, it's about what you can show. Because some people, some of you are very talented, but nobody knows that you know what you know because you don't show it. You won't cut a video, you won't do a post, you won't put yourself out there. Yes, people are going to say some mean things, but you won't share, you won't tell, you won't help. You just keep it to yourself. And I think a part of that is you think it's no big deal. The only reason why you think that is because you know it so well. But to someone who has no clue, it's a very big deal. And they would pay, a person who doesn't have a clue would pay you to show them how to do what you do. It could be organizing things. It could be anything. Just by mere virtue of me going on this entrepreneurship journey, there have been people that have reached out to me to say, hey, I like your Google form. Can you show me how to do that? Will you do a class on this? Will you do a class on that? There were things that I've done classes on. I had no plans whatsoever of teaching that thing, but I was showing the marketplace one thing and they asked me for another, and it presented an opportunity for me to do what? Go sell my oil. I found out I even had more oil than I originally thought. And again, I didn't realize it because it's now familiar to me. So I didn't realize it was foreign to other people. But when they came and they told me, I was like, oh, wow. Okay, this is another opportunity. And I'm not rich. There are still plenty of times where I don't have it. But one thing I can tell you for a fact, you will not save enough money to meet most of your needs, y'all. Not in this economy, not in this environment, not in this lifetime, not the way things are going right now. You will not save your way to wealth. You definitely won't save your way out of this mucked up situation you're in. I could not, if I had to rely on saving, because what do you save? You save your extra money. How do you have extra money when eggs are the price that they are, when gas is the price that it is, when everything around you seems to be imploding? Save extra? What extra? So if you can't save, I'm telling you from experience, the next best thing is to sell. You can sell so much. You can sell and make so much more money than you ever will saving. I'm telling y'all. Because even if you have a savings, guess what? A lot of people right now have been saving for a very long time. They're a little bit of extra. And guess what they're having to do right now? Dipping to the savings at huge chunks because so much has gone up lately. And look at Terry's course. She had that course for $5,000 for years. And now she's done what? Doubled it. And rightly so, because I'm going to be honest with you. It should have been that price to begin with. It should have been that. So she's not being greedy, actually. She's finally catching up to what she should have charged from day one. My mentorship that I just did, I did wave one, my first group, my first cohort. I did them in February. Okay, well now wave two, guess what? It was $100 more. Why not? Y'all, nothing stays the same. No price is going to wait on you. And nobody selling stuff cares about your or my bank account. So I've got to really sell the oil. And yes, it takes courage. It's scary. When I did the mentorship, I was like, what if nobody signs up? And I was like, Kim, duh, you'll be in the same spot. But guess what? People did sign up. But I would never have known that had I not stepped out there and offered it. Right? And I'm telling y'all this as someone who, because the journey is going to be ugly. Just so that you know, the journey is going to be really, really nasty. You are going to be tested over and over again. And the tests actually get harder. When you set out for a goal and you say, this is what I want. Oh, goodness. Especially if what you want is something like freedom. The enemy loves us in bondage. If you don't believe me, listen to Outwitting the Devil. It is one of my favorite audiobooks. And you can type that in on YouTube. Outwitting the Devil. It'll come right up. You can start listening right after this broadcast. That book changed so much for me because I saw how the enemy kept me in bondage just rooted in my own fear. Me having fear over faith, the enemy kept me in bondage and he was loving it. And stepping out on faith is not easy. Living in fear is not easy, but they're both hard, but pick your heart. One keeps you there. The other one, at least you have a possibility of escape. And I'm telling you, along my journey, y'all, I've been cutting videos for years. I have cut videos when in the midst of hell and breaking loose in my life. And y'all didn't even have a clue because I didn't come on camera crying and tell y'all about it. I got some crying videos, but they're just for me. They're just for me. And it's not easy, but it's worth it. Because again, had I not stepped out and my marriage did not survive my journey of entrepreneurship, it put a strain on the marriage. But guess what? So did financial hardship. So did financial hardship. So the marriage was going to fail regardless. I'm happy that I did what I did, though, because being on my own, what if I hadn't done that? And now I didn't have I hadn't built up that muscle of courage. And now a whole bunch of other people are raising my kid because I'm working like 3 and 4 jobs. I remember, it doesn't matter whether you're single or whether you're married, it's still hard. It doesn't matter whether you have no kids or you got a bunch of kids, it's still hard. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man, it's still hard. We all have our respective struggles. But if you ever watch any one of my videos and think, easy for you to say, Kim, you have no clue. You have no clue. I don't tell y'all everything that's going on in my life in these videos. I only share what I care to share. And half the time I share the struggle. More than half of the time, the majority of the time, I share what I went through after I have gone through it. Not while I'm in the midst of it, because most of the time I can't even see how it's going to work out. And I feel discouraged about my situation. So I don't even talk about it. I don't even give it energy. And I'll come to social media to escape, to get good vibes, good energy from y'all, which I thank y'all for giving me. And then that gives me the strength, along with, other stuff, people that know me in real life, of course, to push through and get out of that crap. Then I can come back and share the story, the glory, the testimony with you. That's what I do. But if you ever look at me and say, oh, easy for you to say, y'all, imagine working from home and having your spouse shut off the internet just to spite you. That was my story. Imagine trying to get extra money and driving Uber and Lyft and having your spouse tell you, well, I'm not going to watch our kid because on the weekends I deserve to have fun and go to the club because I work hard. That was my story. Literally driving 3.5 hours away to another town to where my mom was so she can watch our son because my spouse wanted to club and he wouldn't watch our son. That was my story. And the whole time I was cutting videos saying, hey, y'all, and y'all were making comments like, you're always so happy. You're always so friendly. You're always so funny. And I was going through hell. Married people always say single people don't understand. Single people always say married people don't understand. I don't think married people have it easy. I don't think single people have it easy. But I know one thing for sure. There is nothing like being married and still feeling like you're single. What's going on, Gabrina? How you doing, sis? Long time no see. How you been? So y'all, I get it. A lot of y'all's story is my story, was my story. Like, I can relate to. Just because I don't use the same words as you in describing it, don't think I understand. I understand more than you know. I understand your story more than you do, because I understand what you're going to have to do to get out of it. And one way you'll never get out of it is by, I don't want to say giving your situation energy, but if you know that your current money situation is not to your liking, I'm just going to tell you, you're going to have to do some really drastic things to change it, some really uncomfortable things to change it. There have been plenty of times when I've taken quote unquote bill money to buy a course, and then I said, I gotta make this course work because this was supposed to pay a bill in X amount of time. So by my calculation, if I do everything in this course, I should at least be able to make the bill money back by this date. And that's literally what I would do, y'all. Sometimes it worked and I made the bill money back from the course. And guess what? Other times it didn't. It didn't. And I had to get the bill money from someplace else, from selling something else. But guess what? God has never failed me yet. And again, I'm happy that I'm not still in a relationship where the other person was, well, I wasn't on the same page with the other person as it relates to many things. Investment in family, investment in finances. Partying is fine when you're in your 20s. But once you have a child and you're in your 30s, you can't be in the club and your credit cards are maxed out and through the roof and your debt is piled high, and you can't, or you shouldn't, leave your spouse out there hanging and say, well, I worked hard, I'm going to party. You figure the rest of this stuff out that you want to do. And there are some of y'all that are in that same exact boat. And when I say some of y'all, I'm not even talking about women. I'm talking about some of y'all in general. There are some men who have very unsupportive, negative talking wives. Here you go with your big dreams. Why? You need to be back in reality. You need to do this. You need shooting them down. And it's going, those types of, with regards to entrepreneurship, I do feel more sorry for married people than single people if you have an unsupportive spouse. Because there is no enemy like the one that is in your head because they're in your bed. They can get to you like nobody else can get to you. And I'm not saying if you want to be an entrepreneur, divorce your spouse. I'm just saying a single person doesn't have to deal with another person beating them down. Most entrepreneurs are already hard on themselves on their own. So they need a person to build them up. For me now, it's my son. And it's always been my mom, but in the home is my son. He asks me every day when he comes from school, made any sales today? And I'm so happy when I tell him yes, and we high five. And I'm so sad when I tell him no. And I think to myself, you gotta do better. But guess what? When I tell him no, he goes, that's okay. The day's not over. I still believe in you, champ. And I'm like, who you calling champ? But some of you I do feel bad for because you are trying. The young lady who made the comment, she's trying. Otherwise, she wouldn't be just a few $100s short from her goal. That's not easy to do. When I was broke, I was broke. When I was broke as an employee, I was broke. I didn't have it until payday. When I got laid off, I was immediately in the red because there was never any savings because there was nothing to save. Because every check I got, I was paying bills. A lot of time I was paying extra interest. A lot of times I was paying over the limit fees. A lot of times I was paying the price of poverty. And it's expensive. And when I think about certain times that I was so depressed that I didn't have a bill, and I was like, well, I guess I can go out to eat because I don't have the bill anyway. What's another $20? Sure. Y'all been there. Don't act like you haven't. Gabrina said, hey, coach, I'm around. That's good, Gabs. Oh, my friend Janelle Bermont. She said, you ain't lying. Sis, I can't lie. And when I think about how many times that I was like, you know what? I don't have the money for this bill anyway, so I might as well fill in the blank. Guess what? I just took that same mentality. I took that same mentality where I was like, well, shoot, if I ain't got the money for the bill regardless, I might as well get me some good rum so at least I can drink and forget about the fact that I'm broke. Now, to people with money, that logic doesn't make sense. But some of y'all feel me. Some of y'all might be listening to me with a pina colada right now. Y'all know exactly what I mean. Bill is $100. You got $12 to your name. That $12 ain't gonna pay the bill, but that $12 will get you a mighty good time at the liquor store. You won't think about that bill no more. Janelle said, not the rum. Yes, I'm a rum girl. I know you a hard liquor New Yorker. You a hard liquor New Yorker, Janelle. But I'm a petite, dainty rum girl. I'm a lady. I can only imagine you rolling your eyes right now. But no, y'all, I'm just telling y'all, if you think I've had it easy, I have not. And it hasn't gotten easier. The tests get harder, but guess what? With each test that I pass, the next thing that I go through, I make more money. I make more profit margin. I have a better experience. So, and again, this is a muscle you have to build. The muscle of stepping out on faith, the muscle of having courage, the muscle of putting yourself out there, the muscle of ignoring people that don't understand. what you're trying to communicate to help them. You have to build up the muscle of ignoring hurt people that try to shut you down because they're not living their dreams. They're not attempting the things they want to do, and they hate you for doing it. That's a muscle. When you can disregard all of that crap, it's a muscle when at Saturday night, what's fun to you is reading about USC codes instead of backing that thing up on somebody. That's a muscle. No, that's a muscle too. But I'm saying it's y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? Look at my girl Janelle. She said, I got the Casamigos right here. Not the Casamigos. Not the Casamigos. RIP take off. But y'all, it is not easy, but it is so very worth it. Because look, if I had not bought Terry's course when I bought her course, is it easier to come up with $5,000 or $10,000? I think we'd all agree $5,000. But at the time that I spent that money, I was like, girl, what you doing? What is you doing? But guess what? I'm happy I did. You know why? Because when I looked at Terry's course compared to other people's course, it was lower than most. It was for longer than most. You have lifetime access to her course. It was some other people, their course was more, and they gave you 1 year. 1 year. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I got Terry's course. I went hard in the paint for 2 months, and then life started lifing hard on a sister. And then I didn't look at the course again. So what if I got one of those other courses that only had 1 year access? When I went back to access the course, I would have had no access. Money straight down the drain. At least with Terry, I could pick up. Here's my point, y'all. Nobody care about your pockets. Just like they don't care about my pockets. They don't care that you're a caretaker for your parent. They don't care that your child is on the spectrum. They don't care that you're a single parent with no child support. They don't care that you just got in an accident and you're on disability. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. And here's the part that's really hard for you to hear, because it was hard for me to hear. They don't have to care. Your business is nobody's business. Your situation, nobody has to care about, because they got their own situation, right? Decisions are not made based on what you can afford. Decisions are not made based on what your life has, what your childhood was like. Decisions are not made based on whether or not you have a good spouse. None of that plays a role in what someone in the marketplace charges you for their products or services. So the best thing we can do is get our coins up. And I'm not one of these people that only preaches about getting your money up. Yeah, secure the bag, sis. Secure the bag, sis. No. Secure everything. Secure your mental headspace. Secure your health. Secure your relationships with people in the real world, like your children, your spouse, your parents. Secure it all. But included in the all is the money, because the money is going to give you options. And if you don't have the money to do what you want to do, what you know you need to do to get out of the situation, then you're the person who needs to come up with the money more than anybody. Because the only thing worse than being in the situation that you're in today, if you don't like it, is being in this exact same situation, but you're 10 years older. You got less energy. You now have more negative programming. 10 years from now, you're going to have 10 years more worth of negative programming embedded in your brain. Like, I should have started 10 years ago. Nobody does this in their 40s, 50s, 60s. You fill in the blank. We all say the same things to it, regardless of where we are in our life. We all say the same thing. The young people think they should be further ahead. The old people think they should be further ahead. We all say the same thing. Social media got us messed up thinking that everybody is snatched with a BBL talking on money phones. That ain't the situation. Yeah. Janelle said, I saw Terry's course was doubling. Yeah, in a lot of people's courses, this happens. Some people, when there's a recession, they drop their prices. But some people who know their worth, they raise their prices and they say, hey, I've put in time. I have more results now than ever. I want to, and like I said, Terry's course was grossly underpriced. So really, she's just doing what she always should have done. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, as someone who offered, a mentorship recently that wasn't cheap, I can tell you for a fact, you get a better quality of people the higher your prices are. They're less headache. They're easier to work with. It's a whole new world. You get a better quality person the higher your prices are. So people that sell stuff who are not trying to be the Walmart of their industry understand this, and they often will raise their prices. And guess what? The more money they charge, usually the less work they have to do. Who in their right mind wouldn't take that deal? Please tell me who wouldn't take that deal. It's always going to be the people that buy the $7 product that's like, I ain't really learned that much. You're like, what? You could literally take that $7 product and charge $9.97, and probably some people be like, this was great. I got one nugget that made me $1,000. You don't have to believe me. I don't have time to get into the psychology of sales right now. But I'm telling you, I've tried it. I've tried the free route for years, giving people all access to me. Hey, if you need help, just DM me. Just jump in my inbox. I'll let you pick my brain. I've tried it for years. I almost lost. Y'all almost took my brain. I almost lost my mind. And the disrespect. You sit on the phone with somebody for hours, and then they call you back the next day like they never had a conversation with you and say, hey, can you tell me everything again? I forgot. What? You weren't taking notes? You didn't write it down? You didn't? What? Hey, coach. What you doing? He said facts, and then he laughed at me. Y'all, I'm telling you, it wasn't until, and I had to go on the free ride, y'all, for a long time, because I had to get it through my head, because I said, this is my people. They don't have money. So I'm going to be, Captain Saver, poor people. and I'm going to come amongst my poor friends, and I'm going to offer my expertise for free, because they ain't got no money. And I remember, y'all, I won't forget this girl. I remember this girl told me, she said, Kim, I have to thank you, because I had been talking to her a number of conversations. She was a mother, so I'm like, she's a mother like me? No. But we were talking for a number of conversations, and she said, Kim, I got to tell you, there is a woman that I paid for coaching, and I didn't learn anything from her. And I've learned more from you than I've learned from her. So much so that with your advice, I was able to, and she told me how she turned something that I told her into like thousands of dollars on her business. And I was like, wait, what? Now, was I happy for the testimonial? Sure. But y'all know where I'm going with this, right? I was like, well, hell, the money that you pay her, you do know you can donate that to me as a thank you. You can break me off something. Can I get a pizza? Can I get some rum? I got nothing. But I said, okay. Thank you, God, for this lesson. See, it's not that people don't have the money, Kim, because you sitting up here labeling her because she's a mother. And you think you putting food in her kid's mouth. But you know what Myron Golden told me? He said, let me tell you something. If you don't get the money, somebody else will. And I'd be that blame Nelly if Myron Golden wasn't right. If Money Myron didn't know what he was talking about. If the trash man to the cash man didn't have a point. When you don't charge people, it's not that you save the money. You just give them permission to spend the money they would have spent with you with somebody else. That's a whole word on this Sunday morning. So you might as well put up a buy button. And you might as well make it big and heavy. The more they pay, the more they will respect the decision to partner with you, the more accountability, the more self-motivation they will have to show up on the call. Y'all, I'm trying to put you on game here. I'm your friend. I've been there. I can literally go back to so many videos on my YouTube and tell you what was happening behind the scenes. And when I say it will blow your doors off, blow your doors off. And I was still buying courses. I didn't buy clothes so I could buy courses. I purposefully locked my hair because it was cheaper than having straight hair. No, let me stop. I did that because I was tired of the perm. But not having to get my hair done as frequently was a benefit too. So I could have money for courses. There were so many things that I did so I could transfer the money to investing in myself. And I always thought about Lisa Nichols, who said she had Jelani, and Jelani's dad was in jail, and here she is, a single mother, taking Jelani with her to work. And one day she didn't have enough money, and she went to the ATM to get money for diapers or something. She didn't have enough money for diapers, and she ended up wrapping her son in a towel because she couldn't have money for diapers. And she said, when she wrapped him in that towel on that floor, she said, this is the last time I'll ever do this. And you look at Lisa Nichols, who is, I believe, I hope I'm not saying this wrong, but she's the only Black woman to have a personal development company publicly traded. And you hear her story about how she would speak at conferences, not get paid, and still volunteer to clean up repeatedly just to be in the atmosphere. Just to be the same conference that she was speaking at, the same conference that she was teaching at, she would then turn around and become a student and listen to the other speakers and serve her way to where she is today. Lisa Nichols, if you don't know her story, amazing, look it up. And those are the stories that I relied on. I said, if she can do it, I can do it. I looked at Gloria Mayfield Banks, who only got into network marketing. She's in Mary Kay. I've never been in Mary Kay. But I look at Gloria Mayfield Banks, who only got in network marketing because she was with an abusive, very powerful man, and she needed an expensive lawyer to go against his expensive lawyer, and she needed a lot of money and a little bit of time, and that's why she got into network marketing, to pay for her divorce lawyer. And I knew her story before I used before I knew I would have to use TLC to pay for my divorce lawyer. For what should have been, I was told, a 3-month divorce that ended up taking over a year. A divorce that was finalized in 2018, and I'm still in court today about said divorce. Good times. So when y'all are frustrated about not having money to do stuff, I get it. When y'all are complaining about the economy and say, I get it. Prices going up. I get it. But I'm here to tell you, you will never save your way to anything that you want. You have to invest your way there. Your money has to have money babies, because if you're saving your way to wealth, to anything, literally everything around you is eating that money up, because it's everything around you is growing exponentially in cost. So what you think your money doing just sitting there? We have to level up, y'all. We have to level up our skills. We have to level up our knowledge, because our money has to have money babies, at least at the rate that everything else around us is going up in price. Otherwise, it will be 5, 10, 20 years from now. And I can't say that you'll be in the same situation, because you won't. You'll be in a worse situation if you're in the same situation, because can you imagine the prices 5, 10, 20 years from now? So don't let the grass grow under your feet. If you're in the same place today, in the future, then you're really behind. You're not in the same place. Because in the future, the prices will be way more. Everything will be way faster. You will be way older. You will be way slower. So I get it. But I try not to be, the lady of doom and gloom. I don't always tell y'all about what I'm going through. That's reserved for people who know me in real life, like Michael Anderson and Janelle Berman. Not people who just know me as a talking head. But I get it. And I really do hope that, some people are going to hear this message and then say, but you don't understand. And I can't do it. I can't do it. I spend an hour telling you that I do understand. So if you still want to come here and say, I don't understand, then you win. You win. Goodness. But if you're feeling your girl, if you see where I'm coming from, I really hope that you will sit in silence, because that's where you'll find the best solutions. That's where I found the best solutions. You'll sit your butt down in the dark and have a good old come to Jesus moment. And just shut up and think, what is my oil? What do I have in my house? And it doesn't have to be your house literally. It could be your house figuratively, meaning your house, the structure, your temple, your body. What do you have in your house that you can sell? Because you ain't going to get what you want by saving. So what is your oil? And when you find it, go sell the oil. Go sell the oil to get what you want. Go sell the oil to get what you need. And as you sell that oil, you're going to find you have way more oil than you ever thought. But there's none so blind as he who cannot see. And what is familiar to you is foreign to someone else, and you just don't know it yet because you haven't put yourself out there. You haven't shared your gifts. You haven't shared your talents. And I get it, because you're scared. But oh boy, I'm tired. That fear is going to keep you in bondage. And more importantly, that fear is going to keep your family in bondage. Your children. Your dreams. So anyway. Dang it, 136. I shouldn't be eating at 136, but I'm going to do it anyway. I got to go, y'all. Talk to y'all later. I hope this helps someone. If not, keep it to yourself. Bye. Love you.